What's goody good?
What up?
Let me get my bag. Well, I want to welcome you down to beautiful Miami Coconut Grove. I'm at my man Neil Schwabe's house. Neil is actually the #1 MGA with United Healthcare. So what we're gonna do is when we get over here, we're gonna crack open a couple of books. We're gonna jump into some medical expense insurance. We're gonna get medieval on this, boys and girls. So, what I want you to do, depending on which class which book you got, we got two. This is the last book, this is the new book, right? Both these books are straight garbage. However, if you have one of the old books, even if you have a much older book, they're pretty much exactly the same. I'm not going to recommend that you go get a new one. I have all the versions of the books, and any changes that come through, we'll take care of that for you, okay? We'll make the adjustments. So let's crack open to chapter 17. What page is chapter 17? I don't know yet, but you guys will figure it out. Big boys and girls. And you know, hustle is the new happy, right? That's how we do it. All right, so what is this alleged, what page are we on here? 17.1. All right, so we're on 294. 294, either one of these books, let's get into it. Now remember, during this segment right here, guys, I'm not explaining anything. We are just identifying the dots. See this big, massive 600 plus page book? We chop it down. I tell you this all the time, but we're chopping this down to about 125, 140 pages, of which we might highlight 10 sentences at max on those pages, okay? So if you don't quite get it just yet, that's the point. A little bit later on, now that we have the dots identified, we're gonna connect them, all right? So page 294, 17.1, the purpose of medical expense insurance, all right? So what I want you guys to do is we're gonna jump over a bunch of this content. So grab out your highlighter and sit there. This, how do you know? I've been using the iPad because there's highlighter marks all over it. See, I didn't want to make it a blonde joke. We've already heard that whiteout joke. You know, I step it up a level. But, take that first line right there and highlight it. Medical expense insurance provides financial protection against the cost of medical care for accidents and sickness. Now, before we go any further, I do want you to have a highlighter and a pen. But look, under no circumstance are you underlining the things that you highlight right now. The highlighter is to bring attention to it, okay? Identify the dots. When we come back over it and we discuss it and we start making sense out of this, that's when we break out the pen and we underline the key points in there, reinforcing it, right? Writing things in the margin. So that way when you're reviewing and you go through your book and you go through your notes, when you see something that's highlighted and underlined, it means that we went over it twice. You have the notes on it. This is just a review, okay? If it's just highlighted, that means you might have missed something in there, and it's not touched until it has both marks on it. So just remember that. Don't go crazy. Now, the reason I bring that up is because financial protection in that first sentence. Remember, healthcare we can do preventative maintenance on stuff like, early detection saves lives. Yeah, so does an oil change. Oil change saves your car's life, right? Same thing, but things are going to go wrong. We can't avoid that. So remember, insurance provides financial protection against what? Accidents, sickness, and death. Death. So if you got that pen, circle financial protection there. That's how it is on my page. But you probably see that because David's really good with that. David, he's got the most clever acronym. My millennial over here, they're so clever, right? Social media and whatnot. But he does all the digital audio, video I deliver to you. So sometimes we're doing this and I'm like, nah, that's just an acronym we give to our tech guy. No, it's actually David. His mom named him to be a digital guy, I guess. I don't know. So look, on the next sentence, right? We're going to fit on that second line. We're going to skip the rest of that sentence. On the third line down, let's highlight some of these expenses here, right, that are covered, because What's the purpose of medical expense? All right. Financial protection against what? Hospital care, physician services, surgical expenses, drug, nursing, and convalescent care, diagnostic treatment, laboratory services, blah, blah, blah. You see it, like rehabilitative, dental care, physical therapy. But this is what I want you to grab here after you kind of boop, doop, doop, you go through it. In a nutshell, highlight all medical treatment. Medical expense includes everything, right? It's just there are going to be basic plans that are kind of like a la carte. You know, I'll take this and this. We'll get into that. All right. So now, let's see. We got all medical treatment, and take that next line down, and services. Now, if we go down one more line, highlight services and treatment covered. It's right dead center of that page right there. Right under that, depends on the policy. Next line down, right after policy, 2 different policy plans. Highlight that. I want you to jump over those first bolded medical expense and major medical, basic medical and major medical. And let's jump over to the ones that are capitalized, all right? A little bit right down. Basic medical insurance limits coverage. It's basic, right? Got limits on things that are basic. Major medical insurance is more comprehensive. You got that? Jump over a little bit later on that line. Highlight complete. Comprehensive. Think of it as a slash. Complete. And then right after that, see where it says the limits of coverage? Highlight that. The limits of coverage. And at the end of that sentence, highlight expressed on a per cause, per year, or lifetime basis. Or, circle that or. I like doing that, okay? Whenever you see an or, nice transitions there, circle it. Because a lot of times, your answer is going to be before that or. And that in this here, that second half of that sentence is probably some extra fluff that they put in. So the or, without you being, discriminating on what the next component of the sentence is, circle it so you can identify that there's 2 components there, okay? And then, or combination of all of these. And that right there takes us through that 17.1.